Whenever someone says it's your responsibility, people get offended. Why? Why? Because you can't be the victim if it's your responsibility.
Oh, oh, oh.
How many of you hear tell or hear told about the Whole Foods? I don't know if he's still the founder. I don't know if he's still the CEO because, of course, Amazon bought it. But this is a brief quote from the New York Times. There's a whole article, so obviously it was taken out of context too. But Whole Foods CEO, so I guess he's still the CEO and founder, John Mackey, says the whole world is getting fat and, quote, it's less about access and more about people making poor choices, mostly due to ignorance. So I'll read this at the top. This is on Twitter yesterday. So John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods, blames obesity on bad decisions by consumers rather than lack of access to healthy food. It's less about access and more about people making poor choices, mostly due to ignorance. So believe you me, people are losing their shit. Everyone's like, cancel Whole Foods. Fuck you. I'm not going to Whole Foods anymore. Well, Whole Foods doesn't build in poor neighborhoods and shitty neighborhoods. Okay. Let's talk about what actually is being said here. I agree. I agree that it's your personal responsibility. The government's not in charge of feeding you, technically. Okay? It's your responsibility to make better choices. I don't disagree. The problem is it's coming from the Whole Foods CEO. So people are going to look at this. Well, Whole Foods is so expensive. Not everyone can afford Whole Foods. And that's true. But a lot of what's in Whole Foods is shit too. I want to talk about the premise of it. A lot of people don't have good access to food, but it doesn't matter. People are billionaires and eat like shit. People have plenty of money and make terrible choices because it is about making poor choices. And it is about ignorance. I agree, it's about ignorance, but ignorance doesn't mean stupid. And people confuse the two often. Okay? People confuse the two often. Ignorance means not knowing. A lot of people are ignorant. Wouldn't you agree? A lot of people are ignorant to what foods do to you. A lot of people are ignorant to what corn and soy do to your body. A lot of people are ignorant to the fact that food can relate to a lot of your health problems regardless of quantity. A lot of people are ignorant to how bad fast food is. A lot of people are ignorant about fitness. Okay? A lot of people are ignorant about a lot of things. I'm ignorant about a lot of things. Ignorant just means you're not knowing. You don't know. It's lack of knowledge. Exactly, Kashina. It's a lack of knowledge. Being stupid, he's not calling people stupid. But of course, everyone hears ignorance. Oh my God, I'm not dumb. No. That's not what it means. That's not what it means. But the problem that people are freaking out about this is because it comes from Whole Foods. If it was a dude saying this, okay, it's different. But then people are going to attack because, oh, Whole Foods is so expensive. I mean, is it Whole Foods' responsibility to fix world hunger? Is it No, Whole Foods is a company that does specific things. There are a lot of supermarkets where people make terrible choices. You can get a bag of chips at Whole Foods and pay more for it, and you can get a bag of chips at Publix or at Stop and Shop or at Aldi's. You can get garbage food at both places. Okay? You can get garbage food, and there's people with a lot of money, plenty of money, that eat shit. Garbage. All right? People make poor choices. People make a lot of poor choices. So the way people are going to internalize this as, why are people ignorant? Here's what I want to go into. Why are people ignorant? It's because schools don't teach you how to eat properly. We just talked about that earlier. Parents don't know. Parents are ignorant. And guess what? If parents are ignorant to proper nutrition, guess who else is going to be ignorant? The kids. That's why it's so important for all of you in the Swole fam to pass this shit on and live by example. All right. So that's a huge reason. Parents don't know. Parents weren't taught. So the kids don't know. And they grow up 20, 30 years old. They have diabetes. And then they get offended when I say you're fat. It's your responsibility. And they get upset. They're not wrong. They didn't get started off the right way. Their parents didn't take care of them properly. But it doesn't mean that's not their responsibility to do what they should be doing from this moment forward. Yeah, and health at every size doesn't help. And people that are trying to promote fat acceptance doesn't help. What this means is whenever someone says it's your responsibility, people get offended. Why? Why? Because you can't be the victim if it's your responsibility. You can't be the victim. You can't pretend. You can't complain if it's your responsibility. You have to shut the fuck up and do better. And why do that when you can just scream and complain and cry and be like, he's the bad person. It's his fault. Change what he said something mean to me. It's his fault. Cancel him. Cancel him. Why cancel him? Why cancel the guy that said it's less about access and more about people making poor choices? I think there are problems with access, but there are still supermarkets everywhere. And I'll say something else. It's also not Whole Foods' responsibility to clean up the areas. Okay. People say, well, Whole Foods is the most gentrified company because they only build in wealthy areas. Would you build a business in a ghetto? I'm just saying. I'm not saying having ghettos are good, but this is why we need law and order. This is why we need safety. Would you build a business where there are riots? Would you build a business where there's a high crime rate? No, that's why businesses don't. That's why the fundamental aspect of building our country back up, that will bring Whole Foods there. That will bring business there. So what happens, it's not just that simple. It's not just that simple. So it is also about access. It's about ignorance about many things. But it's no single supermarket's responsibility to make it affordable for everyone. No one's rioting outside Ferrari. How come Ferraris are so expensive? Shut the fuck up. Go buy a Toyota. You can get organic produce at a supermarket. Maybe you can't afford organic. Well, you can still get vegetables. My point is, if you have $10, you have a choice of what to spend that $10 on. You could spend the $10 on McDonald's, or you can go and buy a pound of chicken breast and get 5 pounds of rice and eat for 2 or 3 days. I'm not saying, look, it's not the fanciest meal, but you can definitely buy better food. Is it the best food in the world? No, but there's a better choice. And people don't want to make even the subtlest better choice. They'd rather make the worst choice and complain. So if you have $10, you do have a choice. You can go to the supermarket, buy something and make it, or you can use it to buy crap. Is it going to be the best food in the world? If you have $10, can you get a fucking filet mignon steak from the fanciest restaurant? No, but you can go and get real fucking food. Okay? You can go and get real food, but it takes more effort. It takes more time. Yeah. Okay. So what do people do? They go for the quick fix. They go for the thing that tastes good now. People are always passing off delayed gratification for instant gratification. Again, he's not wrong. But this is why people are going to complain, because all they're going to see is someone who has money and Whole Foods is expensive and it's not my fault. And people just get angry because they know he's fucking right in many ways. But at the same time, a lot of people don't have access. So there's that problem. But again, it's not his fault that some people don't have access. It's these communities. And it's also other reasons, and government and investments and money. Like, this is why we have to build shit back up. We talk about this on Red, White, and Swole. This is why we have to build shit back up and not burn it to the ground. This is why we need to invest and not tear down. We have to make it better, not set back these communities a couple more decades. So, all to my point. All to my point. I mean, the thing is, even if you don't have a lot of choices, if you go to a small supermarket, you're still going to have choices. Legit. I'm just saying, if you go to a gas station, you could buy a power bar, you could buy a soda, and oftentimes you could buy a banana or an apple. They have fruit there, or they'll have something, or they'll have some unsalted almonds. And it might not be the most magical thing, but it's still a choice, isn't it? I'm just saying, just because it's not, and people say when there's no choices or no access, people always equate it to this ideal that even most people don't have access to. I mean, most people don't have healthcare. I don't care. You're not even in middle class. A lot of people don't have healthcare. And even if you have money, a lot of people just make bad choices. So he's not just talking about, and that's where people get pissed off. It's not just low economic. He's talking about obesity. There are many wealthy people that people who read this whole quote, they read it wrong. There are a lot of wealthy people that are obese. There are a lot of wealthy people that are fat as fuck. They have access. What he's talking about is it's not just poor people that are obese. A lot of people are fucking obese. He's talking about people that are buying food. They don't make good choices. Agreed. A lot of people have enough money to eat healthy. Most people that are living, we're not talking about the lowest bottom population. We need to bring that up. We do. But most people that have plenty of money to buy food, that your average person that buys food, they don't make good choices. I've been to the supermarket. I've seen the shopping carts. They eat like shit. I remember when COVID hit. I remember the beginning. All the chips and soda were fucking gone. You could have a field day with fresh produce. People did not fucking go after that. Eventually, everything was out for a while. Yeah, but people went for the junk food fucking first. Why? Because they're fat addicted fucks. That's why. Straight up, no one wants to say it. Of course I say it. Shocker. That's why YouTube doesn't show my content. That's why YouTube doesn't show my fucking content. Anyway, so, ignorance is not stupidity. Ignorance doesn't mean that you're a worthless person. It's just when people talk and use big words that are smarter than you and you get angry because you read it the way you want to hear it and you take to Twitter, fuck this. Yeah, he's telling you it's your responsibility for your health. You're saying he's wrong. That's why you're fat and that's why you're unhappy. Just saying, the more you know, the more you know.